You've probably seen all these conspiracy style green screen videos all over your For You page on TikTok, someone talking about aliens, something mysterious, with B-roll footage of weird music that feels like you're watching a strange movie playing in the background. Then suddenly someone's throwing up a podcast clip from somebody on Joe Rogan or some other famous celebrity like JFK Talk Show or even the Ellen DeGeneres Show. But here's what's crazy, a ton of these videos are consistently doing 6 figures in revenue or more. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why this style works and how to spot the next big TikTok format before it saturates, and how you can actually use this framework to consistently find winning video styles that are working right now. Okay, so I wanted to go over an example of a well-executed affiliate video for this conspiracy style. And so there's a couple of reasons why this actually works, and you want to look at a deeper level to figure out, okay, why are all these videos working so well? Obviously, there's plenty of videos that don't go viral for this, but the ones that work well, they're generating a lot of revenue. And so one of the main reasons for this is, one, these videos oftentimes start with a lot of fear. There's a really great hook, and so I'll play the first clip here of this guy's video where he did, let's look right here, according to Kade, he did around 137K revenue just off of this video. Again, Kade is not 100% accurate, but it did well over 6 figures in revenue. So listen to these first 5 seconds here.
Why the would a random ex-Navy SEAL not trust his own government?
Boom. 5 seconds, a lot happens in that clip. So first of all, he says, why the F would a Navy SEAL not trust the government? That clip right there, again, you should be listening to that first hook in that video. If you hear that sentence alone, are you like, wait, what? I want to hear more. So that's a crazy sentence. With these videos, you have to be careful to not get violations. And so he did a good job of kind of towing around what's going to get you a violation and what's not going to get you a violation. So he said something about the government, just don't make any medical claims, you can curse. So he did the cursing right there in the beginning. And he's borrowing social proof in the first frame of this video. So he's looking, he's the frame of that guy. Again, I forget his name. He has his own podcast. I forget, but he's super famous. Not famous enough for me to remember, apparently, but he's a well-known podcast, so people are going to see his face and recognize it. I recognize his face myself, even though I can't remember his name. And the clip on the right, it's probably some sort of AI-generated image. And then on top of that, he also has the element where it says 90% of Americans would, and again, he doesn't say die, but he has the exclamation point. Everybody knows that's what he's saying. So every single visual element in this first 5 seconds is spot on. And not only on top of that, he has that interesting background around him. He has some elements around him. And so the other common mistake that I see a lot of people make in these first 5 seconds is their tone doesn't match the importance of the video. So if this is a serious topic, you're making some serious points here, and if you're like, oh, the American government doesn't trust him, nobody's going to believe you. So you got to be speaking 90% of Americans, like you're almost screaming and you have a lot of authority. You're speaking down, you're bringing the tone in your voice down to really mean what you're saying. So you have to get in the element of like, I mean what I'm saying. Like this is going to be life or death for people if they don't hear this video. So you got to get your tone right, and that's something he does very well. So that's the first element of this video. Again, you got to have a really good hook. You got to sound like you mean it. You got to have good on-screen visuals to really hook someone in, and it all makes sense. It all ties together really well. So let's watch the next portion of the clip. After the intro, you have these intro sections where you're basically just hooking people in to get them to the first podcast clip. Is usually what people do.
Just watch this shit.
I don't think.
So again, he goes right into it. He doesn't waste time. Some people spend around 30 seconds getting right into the podcast clip. Now, me personally, I've had a lot more success with this style. I've gotten multiple videos with over 2 million views using this style. I'm not going to share mine just because I don't want to share the exact account that I'm using, as well as the product that I'm promoting right now. It's making me a lot of money. But he goes right into the podcast clip. That's how I've had the most success. Just go right into the podcast clip within the first 7 seconds, because the chance you run of just rambling on about, scarcity, scare tactics in the first 30 seconds is someone might not get to the podcast clip. You don't want to let this video run for too long. Just listen to a very small clip of this right here.
I think there's very many people left that have any.
And so boom, the first clip there, I don't think there's very many people left. The problem is a lot of people will start this podcast clip at a boring part. You're still in that first part of the video. You haven't earned that viewer's trust and respect yet to want to continue on in the video. So you have that first clip that they have to say has to be something important. It's almost like another hook, because if they're just like, oh yeah, I was walking along, and they're not getting right into their point in that podcast clip, you're going to completely lose the viewer. They're going to scroll away, because it's like almost they need another hook to keep them in. So obviously that first sentence that he says on this podcast clip is very well done.
confidence in the U.S. government at this point. My personal opinion is that.
And so as you can see, the cuts are quick there. If you weren't paying attention, he cut to a next clip right away. So instead of letting someone ramble on, the problem is when you're doing a lot of these podcast clips, the duration of the video can really just drag on. And so the reason this works too is he's cutting the clips very quickly, so there's not a bunch of junk. You want these to be quick, to the point. You want to string them along this funnel, and so you're selling them on the problem still. This first podcast clip, the entire point is to string them along and, oh, I hate to say it, but get someone scared, get them bought into this problem as a whole. And so he matches that by the on-screen text here where he just says, the fires in LA were just the first ... Somebody reads that alone, they're like, what is going on? Like, what are they about to start talking about? And I'll continue on to let this clip play for a bit here to see kind of more what he does in this first specific podcast clip, where again, you usually aren't talking about the solution at all. You're still kind of building that pain, building that scare tactics, if you will.
They know it's over and they're ripping the wiring out of the walls and just trying to get every last dollar into their pockets before this thing goes up.
In the same way.
Boom. And he cuts it right there. He was very quick and precise. Every single word mattered. And that's the mistake a lot of people make, is they're like, oh, let's just play this 2-minute long clip. Nobody cares. Again, attention spans are fried. You got to be, quick with it, because otherwise these videos are going to be 3-4 minutes long, and that's just entirely too long. For the most part, there are some exceptions that apply. Now, usually after this next podcast clip, you need some sort of transition into where you're going to show a podcast clip that actually starts talking about the product or the problem that you're solving specifically. So after you see that first podcast clip where it's talking about a problem, you usually cut to yourself where you start to do some explaining to kind of tie everything together. Here's how these problems are going to relate to this sort of solution. You want to bridge that gap between the problems and the solutions, and that's the point of this whole next clip. And again, I haven't even watched this yet, but I know that's what he's going to do. So let's take a peek at this.
Way that this UFC commentator tried to warn us about the fires months ago, he has been trying to warn us about the government's next natural disaster.
So again, boom, he's got a lot of things going on here in this first 6 seconds. Again, he's very to the point. He has on-screen visuals that keep you hooked in. He's got a video of the fires. He has an on-screen text saying, why would Congress mandate studies like this? Again, another question that you want to be answered. You see that text and you're like, what is going on? I want to see the answer to this.
In the same way that this UFC commentator tried to warn us about the fires months ago,
so he did something really subtle here. He goes the same way that this UFC commentator tried to warn us months ago. So again, he's leveraging social proof. So instead of having to tell people, oh, here's why you should believe me, he's not saying believe me. He's saying listen to these clips where someone that somebody that the audience entirely knows, is going to kind of talk more about the product. So again, very quick, rapid fire visuals. The thing that he does excellent with this video is he really condenses everything into a short period of time. It's very easy. And especially when I started conspiracy clips, a lot of these clips ended up being like 3 minutes long, which for the most part is entirely too long. And you really got to be to the point and just get going with the point, because the last thing you want is to only sell the product for the last 5 seconds.
Tried to warn us about the fires months ago. He has been trying to warn us about the government's next.
And so again, he does the introduction here. He shows a clip of the Sean Ryan show, which again, the next clip is going to be a clip from that podcast. He's kind of introducing the solution now.
Natural disaster.
And what does it look like
If our power grid goes down.
Boom, right there. I know, of course, we know this because we're watching the video, but there is your introduction into how the actual product is going to get introduced. So this second podcast clip is usually used to actually start to introduce the topic of the solution as a whole. So he says the power grid. Obviously, we know this is a book around, surviving if the power grid goes down. So boom, now we're kind of targeting more towards the actual product.
If we truly have an outage that is nationwide, the EMP Commission, which is a commission that was mandated by U.S. Congress, they found that as many as 90% of Americans would die.
Boom. So again, it's another scarcity. They're trying to scare people, but they're also relating it to the actual product itself. The mistake that a lot of affiliates make when they're trying to make these videos is their second clip doesn't actually relate to the product enough, and as a result your conversions are going to be terrible, because usually what happens is when you don't get that second podcast clip narrow enough to the topic of the product that you're about to sell, because again you're going to have to close it out, you're going to have to actually sell it yourself. You're going to get a lot of views because you hook people in the first 30 seconds, and past that point you're going to get a lot of views but no conversions, which obviously we're doing this to make money, so you got to really bring it home after this next clip here. And again, he keeps it very short, to the point. He chops these clips up, so don't just let a podcast podcast clip play the whole time and just let them talk for a minute and a half, and now you're at 3 minutes and you haven't even started to sell the product itself yet. So let's get to that next point here.
300 million people wiped off the map just like that. And how long did you say that would take?
9 months.
And when this happens,
Boom. Okay, so now we switch back to him. So we had a couple steps to get to this point. We had the hook with the crazy, outlandish statement, first podcast clip to kind of build that urgency, scare people. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly related. Back to the person talking so that he can start to bridge the gap between the two podcast clips so somebody isn't confused. That's probably the most important step right there. And then the final podcast clip to actually kind of bring up the topic of the product as a whole, or how that product specifically solves a lot of those problems. And now the last part is you got to bring this home. You can't just end on the podcast clips. You got to sell on that specific solution. Now they're probably bought into, oh, I need to prepare myself for the power grid. Here's why you need to now sell that last 20, 30 seconds on this product specifically. And again, if you're getting a lot of views on this style of content, but you're not converting well, it's because you are not selling it well enough at the very end.
information is going to be the most powerful resource because
information is going to be the most powerful resource. Again, he's planting a seed. He hasn't even introduced the product yet, but he's planting the seed that information is the most important. That's a clever way to bring up a book. A book is information. So again, he's selling the product. He's actually introducing the solution without quite introducing it yet.
nobody's going to know what to do, which is why everybody in my family has one of these.
Boom. Survival guide. Now he flips to the actual book itself. He's now selling the solution. He earned that right to actually start to sell now. So he's going to flip into the book, show people a couple different things. And again, if this is a supplement you're trying to sell, now you're selling the people on why that specific supplement or that specific brand is going to get the job done versus the other ones and why they need to buy it right now. So again, you did all that work at the very end. You need to put in some point of urgency. Same thing as every other TikTok shop video, explaining how they need to buy the product right now. Otherwise, it's either not going to be available or they're taking down the listing or some other scarcity urgency tactic to get them to buy right now. And so the reason this format works as a whole, and again, in my opinion, we're getting kind of towards the tail end of this now. I'm still making money with this content style myself, but people are starting to understand what's actually going on. A lot of people are starting to scroll away because they know what's going to happen. They can just see it. They can just feel it. They're like, oh, I know every time I see this style of like scare tactics, they're just going to sell me something at the end. And so obviously, if it's well done, most people won't care. But this content style is eventually going to fizzle out. And so the reason why this works so well is you're leveraging a lot of different things. In the beginning, you're leveraging a lot of scare tactics. Negative is always going to sell more than positive in general. And so people are taking advantage of that. They're leveraging authority figures to really do a lot of the selling for them and help bridge the gap. So that way, when it's time to finally talk about the product, you yourself haven't really done any selling yet. You're just dragging them along this process. So those are the main reasons why this concept works really well. So again, this probably isn't going to be here forever. So the thing that you want to take away is why some of these things work. You should really start to understand why these content styles work, and that's how you actually help iterate and start to look out for what's going to happen next. Where is the next style that's going to be the number one style go on TikTok Shop? Of course, there's going to be other iterations where people only show podcast clips or people only show scarcity topics with just on-screen text with visuals without actually using any podcast clips. But when you understand why this stuff works well, that's how you actually prepare yourself for what's coming next. What style of content is going to print hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue, and that's how you jump on it earlier than the point that we're at now to make sure that you make the most money that you can possibly make. Now, if you paid attention, you know exactly how to spot and actually capitalize on winning TikTok formats before they completely saturate. So you can take what I've shared. You can start testing these strategies yourself today to try to get a viral video. But the thing is, even with all this information, most people actually struggle to execute on this knowledge because there's a big difference between knowing what to do and having someone guide you through how to do these videos properly. Because if you don't do it properly, you'll get a lot of views, but you won't make money. You won't get consistent sales. So if you are serious about scaling your TikTok shop income and you want to skip months of trial and error, click the first link in my bio to book a call. But genuinely no pressure, but we'll look at what's going right on your account, what might be going wrong with your strategy that you're implementing right now, or even if you have no strategy. I hope not, but there's people like that, and if we're a good fit to actually just work together in the first place. I do only take on a few serious students each month, so that way I can make sure everybody has my full undivided attention. So hit the subscribe button, check out this video on the screen right now where I interviewed my own grandma about how we are hitting 10K months on TikTok Shop consistently.